Hello all and welcome to my page. I'm Marcus Cash. Down below you will see my media handles for basically everything. YouTube, Instagram, you name it. I appreciate you stopping by the channel. Before I get into my rant of this episode, be sure to click the bell, like, share, subscribe, comment away, and share with any and all. I do appreciate your time and thank you in advance. Alright, and welcome back to the page. I'm Marcus Cash. We're going to be covering the third edition of Bruce Prichard's version of Monday Night Raw. This being the third week he's exclusively in control of it, aside from Vince McMahon, of course. Key note at the beginning of this is the first week where they're going to be missing a lot of talent for a number of reasons. Obviously, Becky Lynch has the pregnancy, Charlotte Flair has the injury, and then there's a lot of people that have either tested positive for the virus or are still staying home because of it. So you're going to see a little bit of double duty happening with this show, but also the reported rumor of Bruce Prichard wanting to go in a direction of a little more talking, a little less in-ring time, a bunch of different segments and things like that. You can see that taking shape a little more and more here. Now, they advertised this show to start off with a contract signing, as boring and as predictable as those always are, typically. It's a double contract signing. It's Dolph Ziggler and Sasha Banks, the challengers, signing a contract at the same time with Drew McIntyre and Asuka, the champions. Now, they changed it up a little bit here. The show starts off, and there's a brawl before the contract signing. There's a brawl before the show even starts.
Welcome to Monday Night Raw.
And I think that was just such a nice change of pace from the usual, outright boring and predictable thing that a contract signing is.
Oh, that was different.
They were still able to get it together and have the contract signing and have some microphone time for each of them. Just worked out well. So I think they finally went about it differently and it worked out. So I was very appreciative of that. So definitely a thumbs up for that. As they're having a microphone time, Drew McIntyre informs us he's going to allow Dolph Ziggler to select the stipulation for their match at Extreme Rules. So whatever Dolph wants to pick, whatever kind of shenanigans he wants to pull, Drew McIntyre is here for it. It's fine with him. He just wants to make sure that Dolph Ziggler has no excuses when he defeats him and retains his title. So makes Drew look like a badass for taking any and all challengers and any and all challenges. But anytime you let your opponent pick the stipulation, there's really only one word to describe it.
Stupid, 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 stupid.
Now, a brawl breaks out again. So the show started off after a brawl had already started. Then they had the microphone time. Another brawl here. And essentially what it does is it shapes the main event for the night. So tonight we're going to have a champions versus challengers mixed tag team match.
Now, if all four of you want to mix it up, tag team match.
You are so predictable.
He's so predictable.
Now, going into this next segment here, we have Andrade and Angel Garza.
Angel Garza!
Versus the Viking Raiders. Alright. Now, backstage, Garza's he's trying to flirt with referee Jessica Carr. Charlie Caruso sees this, and after Jessica Carr walks off, Charlie Caruso walks up and she's questioning Angel Garza kind of jealously.
The hell was that?
But then the Big Show interrupts.
Just go away.
And Big Show informs them that he's gonna take their spot up next instead of their tag team match, so he can go and call out Randy Orton.
It's time to move on, so let's move on.
Now, as Big Show's out there talking, Andrade and Angel Garza are about to attack Big Show in the ring. That is, of course, until the Viking Raiders interrupt. The Viking Raiders start a brawl with A&A on the ramp, and then commercial break, of course. But right after the commercial break,
Tag team match.
You are so predictable.
He's so predictable.
we've got a tag team match. Couple of quick notes. The Viking Raiders versus Andrade and Angel Garza was actually Andrade and Angel Garza's first win as a tag team in over 3 months. Their last win together as a tag team was when they defeated Cedric Alexander and Ricochet back on March 23rd. So several things happening in between, obviously, but that thought process of making them a tag team and having them go after the tag team titles and all of that, that was started 3 months ago, and we're still here. So kind of spin the wheels a little bit. Now, during this match, there's more tension that they're showing again between Angel Garza and Andrade, but they get the win anyway. The Viking Raiders are continuing to fall down the ladder, and while I'm happy for Angel Garza and Andrade to be picking up steam and these wins for this tag team that they're going to inevitably and probably soon implode for whatever reason, because they work well together, so there's really no reason to break them up. But I'm glad to see them get the win, but it's coming at the expense of a tag team that should have been unstoppable before you started having them sing and dance and bowl and shoot darts and fight ninjas and all this ridiculousness that they've been doing.
Stupid, 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 stupid.
Anyway, up next we have the IKonics. And they run into Ruby Riott backstage. And they run down Ruby Riott on how much of a friendless loser she is.
Le who? The her.
And they made a point to mention that Liv Morgan is also a loser. So tonight, Ruby Riott challenges one of the IKonics. Now, next segment here, we have Andrade and Angel Garza bickering backstage, but then Ric Flair
Another one.
walks up to compliment them, and he asks that they go off and conspire together privately. Now, as a behind-the-scenes kind of wrestling fan, that's a nice little touch that they put there, considering that Andrade is engaged to Charlotte Flair, who's Ric Flair's daughter.
This is my destiny.
So having Andrade and Ric Flair work together in some capacity, it's a nice touch. I don't want him leaving Zelina Vega's side. I don't want that imploding with them two and Angel Garza. I would like for Ric Flair to kind of be added to that, but we'll see. Maybe they're gonna start the process of taking Andrade out of that and putting him with Charlotte altogether. Either way, at least he'll get more of a push that way. Anyway, next up we have Ninja Akira Tozawa and he's gonna defend his softcore title against R-Truth again.
it's time to move on. So let's move on.
Now, if you would have blinked, you would have missed it. That's how fast this match was. Once again, R-Truth is your softcore champion. But some notes on that one. This was the 6th official 24/7 championship match of the year 2020. It was the first one on Monday Night Raw since March 9th. It was actually the 16th title change of this year so far. It is the 99th title change overall for that championship. So the next title change is momentous, I guess. It's also R-Truth's 37th time with this championship. So if you're wondering when we jumped the shark, it was about 30 title reigns ago for R-Truth, which might be about 50 title reigns ago altogether. Next up here, we have Lashley telling MVP he's personally upset at Apollo Crews' rejection of joining them in a group.
Look, no means no. No, that means no. All right, but no, stop it. What are you doing? Oh my God.
Now MVP tells him he still likes the kid, but that offer is done. But he wants to go out to the ring, and he wants to go out and drop some gems on Apollo Crews. But first, as they're walking off, we see Seth Rollins with Murphy, formerly Buddy Murphy, who they're without Austin Theory. I haven't seen anything online about Austin Theory testing positive for the virus or wanting to stay home, but he's not there. Seth Rollins tells Buddy Murphy that he needs to do this and that he needs to do it now. And the announcers chime in that he's going to ask for forgiveness. Again, a little concerned where Austin Theory is, but after a commercial break, they go into a long recap. Seth Rollins offers a fake apology.
Okay, fine, but I gotta say, technically, I didn't even do anything wrong. I'm sorry.
Then Dominic is on the screen. He's promising revenge, and that leads pretty immediately into Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo coming out again, fighting this fight for Rey Mysterio again. And of course, yeah, you guessed it,
Tag team match.
You are so predictable.
He's so predictable.
a tag team match breaks out.
Another one. Another one.
Decent action, back and forth. I'm not a big Humberto Carrillo fan. I think he's a little vanilla. I think Aleister Black can do way better things than ever having to tag in a match with anyone against anyone ever. He should be a single star, in my opinion. But four very decent athletes, and you know, they couldn't put on a bad match if they tried, in my opinion. Match ends with the stomp from Seth Rollins. It's on Humberto Carrillo, which is the best decision, because if anybody's gonna eat a loss, I'm sorry, but it's got to be Humberto. And after the match, of course, they try to take out Humberto Carrillo's eye.
You are so predictable.
He's so predictable.
He's gotta puke. He's gotta puke.
It's time to move on. So let's move on.
Now, backstage, Lana, she walks up to Ruby Riott and she tries to offer her some support. And Ruby Riott just blows her off.
Look, no means no. No.
Just go away.
Now, there's no Natalya on this episode of Raw, so she's another one that's just missing without an explanation. But I do like how, if we're right in assuming that Ruby Riott is going to end up joining forces with Liv Morgan again.
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone?
And we already have Natalya, who's joined forces with Lana. now we have this scene here. That's what we're going to start calling them now, right? This scene where Lana is, you know, put off by Ruby Riot's rejection, right? So we're just adding another layer and dynamic to probably what's going to be
Tag team match.
a tag team match in the future. But Ruby Riot comes out, and it turns out it's going to be Peyton Royce who's going to be wrestling one-on-one with Ruby Riot. And decent enough match. Neither one of them are the greatest in-ring competitors, but you know, they tell decent enough stories. Peyton Royce, though, she wins with what I believe is a new finisher. As long as I've seen her in this company, she's done a spinning heel kick and or a fisherman suplex. This time she won a match with a spinning brainbuster, most similar to something you might have seen Goldust, like actual character Goldust, do to win a match the few times that he did toward the end. So it looks like she's got a new finisher here. I'm happy that either one of the IKonics win, because I would never have them lose. But yet again, and this is actually, here's a fun fact, for the 20th straight time on television, Ruby Riot loses.
Le who? The her.
This was Ruby Riot's first match on Raw in about a month and a half. Last one was March 18th. This was actually Ruby Riot and Peyton Royce's second singles televised match against each other. The only other one being over on NXT, and Peyton Royce won that match too. That happened August 30th of 2017. Now, this was Peyton Royce's first singles match overall since she lost to Nikki Cross on Raw on June 3rd of 2019. So first singles match on Raw in over a year. And she didn't even win that one. Her first singles win, though, since she beat Nikki Cross on Main Event on May 10th of 2019. But you probably didn't even see that because nobody watches Main Event. This, believe it or not, though, was Peyton Royce's first singles win on Raw ever. So you can see Billie Kay has gotten a few singles matches. Not very much, but she gets them a lot more than Peyton Royce. They just really don't let Peyton Royce have singles matches, hardly ever. Next up, we have the handicap match with Andrade and Angel Garza.
Angel Garza!
They're gonna go up against the Big Show, and we're teasing more tension yet again, as the partners are reluctant to work with each other. They don't really want to tag each other in or out. Now, Angel Garza has Big Show in a position where he could win, even though we know that's highly unlikely. Andrade's demanding the tag. Angel doesn't give the tag. Andrade ends up tagging himself in to try to steal the win, and Angel Garza decides to just abandon him to get off the apron and start walking up the ramp. Of course, this perfectly times Big Show being able to get up and stand behind Andrade, and Andrade just eats a chokeslam, and Big Show picks up a win.
Stupid, 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 stupid.
Just go away.
It's time to move on, so let's move on.
I get this in a sense of, if they are going to break them up and have this tension, costing each other matches specific, like directly, makes sense. I just think it could serve a lot more purpose than Big Show picking up a win. I get that you wanted, you know, an old school guy for ratings, because for whatever reason that increases the ratings, but he was working with Randy Orton and Edge, and neither Randy Orton or Edge was on this show. They didn't need to force their way to have Big Show into the show. Next up, though, we had Apollo Crews, your United States champion, against MVP. Now, decent enough match. MVP surprisingly still pretty good in the ring. Basically, though, if you flash forward to the finish, Apollo Crews is climbing the top rope, and basically Lashley jumps up and saddles him on a turnbuckle. This gives MVP an opportunity to hit his running boot, but then MVP, he breaks out a fisherman suplex for the win.
I'm not even mad. That's amazing.
Now, I don't remember MVP ever using a fisherman for a finisher, but it looked pretty good, and I like it a lot better than his running boot as a finisher. I like it a lot better than his playmaker as a finisher, which shouldn't be a finisher anywhere for anyone. No, it was a nice change. I think directly also might make sense for why Peyton Royce had a different finisher tonight if MVP decided to start using the fisherman, because you can't have two matches end with a fisherman suplex on the show. So I'm assuming that's what happened there. Now, after the match, Apollo, he attacks MVP because he's so upset, and he's just really tired of the issues that he's having with MVP and Lashley. However, though, Apollo Crews just ends up in a full Nelson.
Another one.
While he's in the full Nelson, though, Cedric Alexander and Ricochet run out to the ring to make the save, because they were here again this week for the first time in about a month, and they were hanging out backstage with Apollo before the match. So they run out, they're friends, they get Lashley off of Apollo in the full Nelson.
Another one.
After a commercial, that just leads to Ricochet in a one-on-one match with Lashley. Now, great back and forth. A lot of points where it could have ended, and they just kept it going. Ricochet was really using his speed and his agility, and Lashley oversold a little bit to make Ricochet look better than he maybe should have, being a monster that he's supposed to be. But pretty solid match, all things considered, especially for an episode of Raw. So very happy with that. Nonetheless, though, Ricochet ends up in a full Nelson also from Lashley.
Another one.
And Lashley gets the win. Cedric comes in the ring, though, and Cedric eats a full Nelson as well.
Another one.
So basically, Lashley's just out here just handing out full Nelsons to anybody and everybody.
But you could call me the Can Man, because anybody can get it. Anybody can get it. Like I said before, anybody can get it.
Now, this match, though, that happened right before that, Apollo Crews and MVP, this was MVP's first singles win on Raw since he defeated Zack Ryder on March 1st of 2010. And as we mentioned, first time Cedric and Ricochet were on the show in about a month. In any capacity. So just fun facts, I thought. Anyway, though, the main event, we saw Drew McIntyre and Asuka.
Nobody is ready for Asuka.
Your WWE and Raw Women's Champion respectively, versus Dolph Ziggler and one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions, Sasha Banks. The Blueprint, the Boss, the Standard, the whatever other nickname. Now, nothing specifically amazing or memorable even that happened here, but really good action, particularly for a mixed tag team match, because those are usually pretty dreadful. Basically, after a good amount of back and forth, Sasha Banks was going for her bank statement crossface finisher. She ends up rolling out of that. Asuka ends up getting a hold of Sasha Banks in her Asuka lock, and you would think that she was about to pick up the win, but Sasha Banks rolls her back and sneaks out a pinfall on Asuka. So Sasha Banks ends up getting the win. Asuka ends up looking like a chump. And we have ourselves momentum for their championship match at Extreme Rules. Now, as a show overall, pretty solid. I would say very good show again. 3 out of 3. So I'm eating my words here on what my predictions were on how this was going to go. This was the 5th week in a row for Monday Night Raw that had 2 women's matches, and technically this was Drew McIntyre's first loss since, I want to say, November 25th. And it was toward the end of November of 2019, and that was when he was in a fatal 4-way match where he lost to Rey Mysterio. So I don't know, I liked it overall as a show. The 3 hours kind of flew by for me. I personally enjoyed, when more characters have more story or more purpose, I guess I should phrase it as. So if the having shorter segments and more segments and quickly cutting from one thing to the next to the next to the next to the next is how they're going to approach it, I'm a fan for it. I'm here for it because it's a lot better than, hey, we've got these 10 people that were all dominant in their own time down in NXT, and then we brought them here, and now you see them on TV once every 3 months. That's very lackluster. So at least everybody gets a little shine or a little story this way. I was a fan. Nonetheless, though, leave your comments down below on what you thought. Feel free to cut promos on me and or each other. Appreciate all the views on the past couple of videos. They've blown up a little bit. But anyway, I'll check you guys out next time. More content is on its way. Like, share, and subscribe, please, if you would. And I'll catch you next time.